What's up, folks? I'm Private Hudson, and this is Left for... I'm sorry, this is Warhammer Vermintide. This game was free to play last weekend, and I was gonna make this video last Wednesday, but the election happened, and that was just one of the funniest things ever. I couldn't put any time aside for anything else, because that hilarity was just too good. So what is Vermintide? It's pretty much Left 4 Dead. It's pretty much the same exact game. The setting is different. It's Warhammer, so it's kind of like medieval fantasy. And instead of fighting zombies, you fight rats. This is kind of like what do you call it? This is like I don't know if you folks live in New York, but this is kind of like this is what the MTA should be doing in our subway system. You know, they fight rats all the time to make the subways a cleaner and safer place for us New Yorkers to travel. We put around 8 to 9 hours into this. We finished all the levels, and then we basically stopped playing. I feel as though we've experienced enough. I'm sure the hardcore fans would be like, oh no, you haven't seen everything. You need to replay the same levels on harder difficulties and so on and so forth. But I beg to differ. I don't think that's necessary at all. So basically, this is, once again, it's like Left 4 Dead, except here you have, I don't even remember how many. I think it's either 5 or 6 classes to choose from, which is different than Left 4 Dead's 4 characters. But the thing is that these classes aren't really all that different from one another. I picked the Elven Ranger. I don't remember what it was called. The Hunter or Marksman or something. I don't know. It was an elf, and the elf had a bow, and it was a female elf. That's all I remember. And I was playing most of the time as her. And my buddy was playing the dude with the fucking dual pistols and a sword or something like that. Don't remember the class name. But we both briefly played as other classes, and all the classes basically feel exactly the same. I think the only difference is the mage and the Imperial Soldier, because the Imperial Soldier, he's got a blunderbuss and a huge-ass, like, weapon that takes... a melee weapon that takes forever to swing. So he's, like, kind of the tank of the group, while the mage is mostly, like... she has different staffs that do different elemental damage. Her staffs, they don't use ammo. Instead, they heat up. And if they overheat completely, then they blow up, and the character you basically kill yourself. You basically kill yourself. And all the classes in between are pretty much the same. These are the only two that are a little different, and even though they're a little different, they're still mostly the same. Each class has a melee weapon, each class has a ranged weapon. You fight just as effectively, whether you're focusing on melee or whether you're focusing on ranged. It really doesn't matter what the composition of your group is, which kind of defeats the purpose of having all these separate classes. In Left 4 Dead, it was just like 4 characters, It was 3 dudes and a chick, and everyone was identical. And Left 4 Dead 2, everyone was also identical. It was again 3 dudes and a chick. But here they try to make it different by having these different classes, but in reality they're extremely similar. The ranged weapons are super powerful, but they're limited on ammunition, and there's only certain areas in the map where you can refill your ammo. But if you stick to melee, it doesn't really matter. So this was basically my experience as well as Anton's. Anton's my friend. He every time I review a multiplayer game, he's always there. He was there for Van Helsing, Dead Horde, Greed, maybe some others that I don't remember. But yeah, he's an experienced gamer. He knows how to play games. He's not a fucking idiot. He knows what to do. So this was our experience playing this game. So, we both started out. He wanted to play the first level on easy, because he thought it was going to be like Killing Floor, because there's so many difficulties. He thought that the RPG system in this game was more advanced than it really is, and that we should level up our classes before we tackle on like normal and hard and all that. That I thought was a silly idea, but I did it anyway, because I thought it wasn't like that, and I was right. So, we played the first level on easy, then we played the next level on normal. We continued playing on normal. It was just us two. Other people were joining. They took control of the bots, or they replaced the bots with their own class, which is kind of strange because I was not able to do that later. We got up to, I think it was the 4th or 5th level. It's the Wizard's Tower. I believe that's what the level is called. It's a long level. It's very good. It's a very good level. The design is very interesting, and it's very challenging. And what happened was, all of us ended up dying. We had this one guy. He joined in 3 of our games, and all 3 games we fucking lost. Actually, the 3rd one I vote kicked him. And I'll speak about this thing a little later on. So we couldn't beat the level, and then I noticed that we're about to level up. So I tell Anton, yo, let's replay the first level, this time on normal. We'll beat it, we'll level up, maybe we'll get some more gear or something like that so we can tackle on this level. So that's what we tried to do. I started up the first level again, and what happened was, I don't remember if people joined or not. I think at least one person did. But what happened was we ran into a giant, well, a tank. Well, that's the thing. You see, this is how unoriginal Vermintide is. Because even the special infected from Left 4 Dead are the same here. You have the tank. I don't even remember what it's called in Vermintide. I just kept calling him Tank. Actually, I kept calling them all the special rats here by their Left 4 Dead names. You remember the hunter who pounces on you, then keeps fucking attacking you, and you need to get another player to get him off of you? Well, they have that here. Remember the spitter? They have that here, except here he throws gas bombs. What else was there? Remember the jockey? Yeah, there's one here too. He like fucking has a stick with a noose on it, and he like pulls you to the side and shit. The only like kind of semi-original other special infected or whatever, I don't know what to call it, special rats, is like this armored unit where you can only use heavy attacks against it. You basically have to use the heavy attacks to get the armor off, or pierce through the armor, or fucking hit him in the fucking head to get a headshot, as that's the only uncovered part of the body. So yeah, we were replaying the first level, and what happened was the tank appears pretty much right in the beginning and killed all of us. We tried playing through it again, and once again, it's the beginning of the level, the tank comes. This time we killed the tank, we survive. But literally, like a minute after we killed the tank, we're attacked immediately by 5 of those fucking armored guys. Like, holy shit, and of course we all die. Now, I've never been a fan of Left 4 Dead's AI director. Anyone who says positive things about it, I think is an idiot, to be honest. Because to me, I played, let's see, how much time have I put into Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2? Left 4 Dead 14 hours, Left 4 Dead 2 54 hours. 54 hours. Yeah, that's right. They ported the Left 4 Dead 1 maps into Left 4 Dead 2 and they fixed the corner camping. That's why I have more hours into it. All of the hordes, the special infected that spawn, all of that, it's just random. There is no fucking algorithm there. It's just fucking random. There's no mathematical calculations. There's nothing. It's just fucking random. And that's what Fat Shark did here as well. It's just fucking random. You can either play a level with no armored fucking enemies and no fucking tanks, or you can play a level with that have a whole fucking bunch of the both. It just does whatever the fuck it wants. So at that point, we got pretty frustrated. So I told him, let's try joining somebody else's game, you know? What happened was, apparently, even if you make a party and you try to join a game, you're separated. So I joined someone's game, then I messaged Anton on Steam. I'm like, okay, dude, there's one more open spot. You know, try to join me through Steam. And he did join me. And this is when I was no longer the female archer elven woman, but now the dwarf. Which is strange, because when people were joining our games, they could change their class. But when I joined this person's, I couldn't. Maybe he had some sort of filters on joining. I don't know. That's not the important thing. The important thing is that this dude was like level 100, and the only other person in the game was level 0. So this was some experienced guy who's probably been playing this since release, who made a game and had someone who's just playing it for the free weekend join. And what happened was, immediately, the level 100 person, he's like, hey, Hudson, follow me. So the host leads me to, like, almost the beginning of the level to pick up, it was either a tome or a grimoire, I don't remember. And as we're going back to regroup with Anton and the level 0 guy, I don't know why Anton was following him, to be honest. And I don't know what the fuck the level 0 guy was doing. But as we're trying to get to them, they both die. I assume the level 0 guy didn't know what the fuck he was doing, and Anton, being the selfless person that he is, was trying to rescue him. Got himself killed. And so as I was walking forward, I noticed that I was no longer being followed by the host. Because this guy had shitty fucking internet. This guy kept blinking in and out of fucking existence. I get killed too. But the host was the only one left. And he just kept coming back into the game and then fucking lagging out. I don't know what happened. He eventually reconnected. Managed to fucking like save all of us. Yeah, we got to the end of the level, and so this is basically what the endgame is. Something that doesn't make any sense about Vermintide. The endgame is replaying the same levels on higher difficulties, collecting all the tomes, because tomes give you a higher chance of getting a better item at the end. This is the main difference between this game and Left 4 Dead. Here, there is a loot system. At the end of the level, you roll the dice, and then, if you're lucky, you get a nice item. If you're unlucky, you get a piece of shit. The problem is, it's only one item. So what people do in the end game is they replay the same levels, and the thing is that the location of these tomes and grimoires, they're not randomized. They're always in the same area, which makes replaying these levels even more fucking dull. You play them on a higher difficulty. The higher difficulty you play, the less of a chance you have of getting a shitty item. And the more of these tomes and grimoires you collect, and there's a chance that whenever you open a chest, there's a loot die, which also increases the chance of a higher quality item. That's the end game. That's it. You beat the level, you roll the dice, and depending on how much crap you collected, you might get a good item. But the thing is, it's only one fucking item. It's only one fucking item. No matter how many rat people you slaughter, or how long the level is, or how short the level is, or how challenging the level is, it's always one fucking item. This doesn't make any sense. You pick up 3 tomes, you pick up 1 grimoire, you pick up 2 extra loot die, and you only get 1 item still? This is just a fucking grind. I think it's even worse than Payday 2's stupid fucking card system. You know, at the end of each fucking mission in Payday, you flip a random card. You're probably going to get either cash, which is worthless, a mask, which is worthless, or maybe like a gun part, which is essential and is the only way to get that part, since not all parts can be purchased through the store. So since I was automatically selected as the dwarf character, I got a really nice item. These fucking dual pistols that have no ammunition. Instead, they have the heat thing. It's the same thing that the mage has. So it looks like every class has a ranged weapon with ammunition, as well as one that's based on heat. And as long as you don't use it, it heats down by itself. You can also hold the reload key to automatically cool it. And this thing was really, really strong. And it was pretty much the only thing I used through the rest of the game. And I apologize if the footage that you're seeing here isn't all that diverse, but I only started recording after I played as the dwarf character. So I don't have footage of other classes recorded. This entire recording and this review was a spur of the moment kind of thing, so none of this was pre-planned. The mission structure is identical to Left 4 Dead's. Just trying to get from point A to point B. Sometimes you have a level where you need to collect an X amount of things, like, oh, you gotta collect 6 grain sacks, people in the city are starving, or some shit. Or you gotta blow up 4 of these things, or something. Or you just gotta get from point A to point B. It really is the same exact thing as Left 4 Dead. The melee system is, I don't know whether to call it good or bad. It's definitely gory, it's definitely meaty, but it lacks feedback. You don't know whether you're hitting something or not, and you don't know whether you're about to be hit by something. When you're fighting against the special rats, like the armored dude, I could never tell if my heavy attacks were landing or not. Especially the fucking tank. I could keep hitting him forever. I'm not getting any feedback that I'm hitting him. And that's not good. Because this game's been out for a year. It's received numerous patches, and it just had an update to its loot system. Believe it or not, it took them a year to update this crappy system, and it's still crappy. I can't imagine how much worse it was before. I think the only thing they changed with this new system is that if you're playing on the insane difficulty, there's 0 chance that you're gonna get a common item. So yeah, the melee system lacks feedback. It's definitely nice to decapitate shit, to fucking chop off limbs, and to smash shit in with a fucking hammer, but when you're fighting the special rats, you really have a hard time telling whether what you're doing is, if it's doing any fucking damage or not. It's definitely a nice looking game. The graphics are gorgeous, and it runs extremely well. At 1440p, maxed out completely, with things that I don't like disabled. Shit like motion blur. I was getting around 80 FPS maxed out with a 1070, a GTX 1070. The experience was fantastic, and this game really is gorgeous, and it's so customizable. This game has a proper options menu, a proper one. You can customize just about everything. Graphically and control-wise too, it's got a field of view slider, which is mandatory for first-person and third-person games. You can also customize the controls as well. For example, part of the melee system is it has a dodging mechanic. You can either double tap it, which actually didn't work for me. So I set my dodge modifier to shift. So if I were holding a direction, then I'd press shift and the direction, I'd dodge in that direction. It wasn't all that necessary, really, but I assume on the higher difficulties it might be. Another interesting about the melee thing to take note of is that the tank in this game, if it's about to hit you and you just block, all it does is knock you back and you take no damage. That's I'm not sure how I feel about that, because this is supposed to be the most powerful, most dangerous enemy in the game. But even if you're playing as a dwarf and your only weapon is the hammer, like you don't even have a shield, and you just take this little hammer and you just like fucking block this huge attack, it just sends you flying a little bit back, but no damage. That doesn't really make any sense. So now it's time to talk about whether the game's worth it or not. Is this game good? I would say yes, it's fun. I enjoyed the time that I spent playing it. Well, some of it, really. What exactly are the issues here? Well, you see, we were playing this. There were around 6,500 people playing this when we were playing it. This was on a Saturday. Saturday afternoon. From about 12 p.m. Eastern Standard till about 8 or 9 p.m. And the first few levels, it was no problem finding people to play this game with. After the wizard level, I think it's the 5th or 4th level. It's the fucking wizard one. That level and anything after it, holy fuck, was it impossible to find people to play with. We lost the wizard level the first time because we had some fucking mage join. I don't remember the guy's name, but he joined and the guy didn't know what the fuck he was doing and we lost because of it. Then, as I said earlier, we tried to replay the first level of the game. The mage guy joined, we lost because of it. He ended up rejoining one of our games later on. I remembered his name and I kick voted him. And we won because the bot that replaced him was better than he was. So this is 6,500 people that were playing the same game at the same time, and we get the same exact person 3 times. Where the fuck are those other people at? I think it's safe to assume that the people who are playing it for the free weekend only played maybe like the first 2 or 3 levels or something. Then either got bored of it or decided that this wasn't their thing or something like that. And that the rest of the community is basically replaying this game on the higher difficulties. So the free weekend is now over, and today on a Wednesday, there was a peak of around 1,600 players playing. So here is my verdict. Is this game good? Yes, it's fun. It's a lot of fun to play. I had a fun time playing it. It was on sale for $15. Did I buy it? No. I could have actually bought the Fat Shark Complete Pack. I own some games from it. I could have gotten Vermintide, its DLC, as well as like another game or two for $16 or $17, and I still didn't buy it. Why? Well, Anton had no intention of buying this game. We played all the levels, we finished all of them. In his view, he was done. He saw everything that the game had to offer. So now, if I were to purchase it, I would have to hope that I would find 3 players to play with. Since finding 2 was a struggle enough when it was just me and Anton playing, I knew there would be no way in hell that I would find 3 other players to play this game with. So this is what I can tell you, folks. Let's do a little question and answer. Do you like Left 4 Dead? If your answer is yes, then I ask you, do you have 3 friends that are also willing to purchase this game and play it with you? If the answer is yes, then by all means, go ahead, buy it. It's fun. So now, round 2. Do you like Left 4 Dead? If your answer is yes, okay. Do you have 3 other friends who are willing to buy this game and play it with you? If the answer is no, then no, don't buy it. There's no point. You're not going to find people to play this with. You really are not. And finally, round 3. Do you like Left 4 Dead? If your answer is no, then why the fuck are you still watching this review? So that's basically Warhammer Vermintide in a nutshell. It's a fun game, but it's really lacking in a lot of areas. It certainly has more maps, or campaigns rather, than Left 4 Dead did, but the environments here are pretty generic, they're pretty copy-paste. It's either a medieval city, medieval outskirts, or the sewers. And the things that you're doing don't really have any effect on the world. Like, there was one level where you had to get like 6 sacks of grain because the people are starving. You get these 6 sacks, but you never see any people. You never see any fucking people. None of it matters. these fucking it's just an objective. It's just a generic fucking basic objective. Do this to beat the level so then you can fucking get an item at the end. The only NPC that you ever encounter is some chick on a horse. You get on the horse, it's the exit. It's the exit, that's what it is. It's the exit. But this chick is immune to everything. The rats ignore her. It really doesn't make any sense. She's sitting on top of a fucking carriage. But the rat people always go around her to attack you. It's stupid. The game could definitely be better. Honestly, what they have to do is they have to revamp the loot system. If you collect more stuff, you should get more things at the end. It shouldn't be this backwards-ass thing where collecting more stuff potentially increases the quality of the item. That just sounds stupid. Collecting more stuff should get you more stuff. And not only that, but you have these trinkets. It's this passive, so you can equip something that'll increase the chance that you get an item for a certain class. I really wanted to play as the elf woman, so even after I got these fancy pistols on the dwarf, I changed the dwarf's trinket to get elf items, and I still wasn't getting them. I got a fucking mage staff, and I got some dual daggers for the guy with the 2 pistols and whatnot. I wasn't getting anything, and I was still getting a dwarf item. The dwarf hammer I got after the pistols. The entire loot system has to be redone, but I mean, the game's been out for over a year now. There's barely anyone playing it. I don't think that Fat Shark are going to continue, and that's a shame, because this game runs great, it looks great, it's a lot of fun to play, and if the existing systems in this game were just tweaked, just basic tweaks, I think this game would have had a much larger population than that's currently left, and it'd be a lot more fun to play. Alright, that's the end of this review. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. See you folks next time.